Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Welcome. My name is Lauren Rudman. I'm the president of the Cleveland State University Alumni Association Board. So thank you. Happy to have all of you here tonight. I am a graduate of the MLR HR program, which is within the business school. I'm a graduate back in 2008, and I've been involved with the board for about 7 years now. So thrilled to be here tonight, and it's homecoming week, so we're excited that all of you have had the opportunity to come out and join us. As you are going to see and hear more about tonight, we have a lot of things going on within the university that we're excited to show you and talk to you about. So, without further ado, first we're going to show this quick snip to prep you for tonight's discussion.
CSU means to me a really good door to get me to where I want to be in the future. CSU means a place to grow. CSU, we love you.
I love that video. So, thank you to the video company for putting that together. That was awesome. So now I'd like to introduce, and I have the pleasure, I should say, of introducing the president of Cleveland State University, Dr. Laura Bloomberg. President Bloomberg is a nationally recognized leader in public and global policy education and previously served as provost and senior vice president for academic affairs before becoming Cleveland State's 8th president in April. I know she's excited to be here today to meet and address our Cleveland alumni base, so please join me in welcoming President Bloomberg to the stage. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you, and happy homecoming week. I'm curious. How many of you in the room right now are alums? You're all over the place. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. How many of you work at CSU and are also alums? Yep, we've got some of those people, including our chief of staff in the president's office, Patty Franklin. It's remarkable to me how many alums stay connected both with the university and in the university. I think that's a really exciting thing. I want to just take a moment, I don't think we do this enough, and thank the people who work so hard to put together this evening, whether it's those who are preparing food or setting the tables or communicating with all of us to get us here on time and on schedule. So I'd just like to give a shout out to all of those people who work so hard to put this evening together. So let's thank them. We start with a slide that says CSU Matters, and hopefully you saw an email recently from the university that was labeled CSU Matters. It's how we want to start a monthly communication process with all of you that has some key stories about the university and will always be led by a video of me taking a deep dive look at something that's going on. So in our inaugural CSU Matters, we focused on Sweeney Todd, the play that our student theater and dance program put on in Playhouse Square. If you didn't see it, if you didn't get the email, let us know. If you got the email and didn't look at it, go back and search in your inbox for CSU Matters and take a look at that video. It's pretty awesome. And although I will go into the details of CSU 2.0 in a moment, let me just say this about our theater program. It's just one example of why I love CSU so much. How many students in a college theater program can stage a performance in a theater district like Playhouse Square, second only to Broadway in New York City? That is an incredible opportunity for our students and an incredible opportunity for all of us. So anyway, that was my advertisement for CSU Matters. I want to talk a little bit about where we are with some of our really aspirational goals that were outlined in CSU 2.0. And although that whole plan was drafted before I came to Cleveland, it is a big part of what drew me here. I was inspired by those aspirational goals. I have every intent to stay the course on many of them, and I'm eager to share them with you today. So this plan was established in 2021, and it was really looking towards where do we go when we first emerge from this global pandemic that we're in, but then also create a kind of urban serving university that is relevant in the second chapter of the 21st century. That was really the key focus. And the plan was and remains focused around four big strategic themes. One is that we want to seek distinction as a leading public urban research university. And although we're going to talk a lot about students, I want to tell you that when we say a research university, it's essential to the well-being of everything we do. When we are a full-service, urban-serving research university, we create opportunities for our students because we are research active that they wouldn't necessarily have if they were at a small liberal arts institution. And I think that's vital to our success as an institution. We also want to differentiate on student success and engaged learning. We really want to have a partnership with students who are enrolled here so that if they are admitted and come to Cleveland State, we are committed to their success. It's a partnership, and when they get to graduation, it is because we have worked closely together to ensure that they had all that they needed, academically, socially, emotionally, physically, in terms of the environment, to be successful here. We want to distinguish ourselves in that regard. And then we need to build the financial strength and vibrancy of the campus through both our budgeting process, which we're not going to talk so much about, and also strengthening our campus community. And if you've looked at the Cleveland News today, we've been all over it. This morning we rolled out our campus master plan to our Board of Trustees. I do want to talk a little bit about that in a moment, but when we talk about ensuring that we have a campus community that's strong and thriving, we're talking about the community of the future. I just talked to some of our alums who graduated quite some time ago, and at least 3 of you just tonight. We talked about you remembering time when this was really a commuter campus. It was mostly surface parking lots and a few buildings, and you came in, you went to your classes, and you went home. We want to transform that. It's already been transformed with buildings like this, with public green spaces. We want to continue on that trajectory, and you might have seen the eye-popping number of $650 million if you read the news today. That's not going to happen overnight. We realize that. But you don't go anywhere if you don't have a vision and a dream. So we're dreaming big, we have a big vision, and in 10 years, I hope our campus looks a lot like what that campus master plan looks like. But more about that in a moment. I want to talk a little bit about a specific part of the plan that really had us focusing on realigning our colleges. That is a piece that we have particularly focused on. Some of you may remember that we had a COSIP, a College of Science and Health Professions. We had a College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. We had a College of Urban Affairs. We had a College of Nursing. And we took a lot of feedback from a lot of different stakeholder groups, and over the last several years came up with a plan to realign some of those colleges. That is not without its controversies. There's a lot of sense of loss sometimes when you do that, but I am absolutely committed that it was the right thing to do, and we have reconstituted some of those programs so that we now have a College of Health I love that we met with Cliff McGarrian, the CEO of University Hospitals, and when we said that, his first thing he said to me was, "Oh, good, now I understand how to partner with you. I understand where to go." And we have our inaugural dean of our College of Health here, Dr. Stephanie Brooks. Do you want to wave your hand? Yeah, from the... We created the College of Arts and Sciences. I have described this as a flywheel. Since the time of Aristotle, great universities have had at their core these ways that we think about learning and learning how to learn, ways of knowing, and that's what we do in our arts and sciences, and we call them the arts and sciences. So in some ways it's old-fashioned, like thousands of years old-fashioned. But it speaks clearly that we have a core at this university that is built around ways of knowing in the arts and sciences. Our inaugural dean of the College of Arts and Sciences is Dr. Andy Kirsten. I do not see him here tonight. Pardon me? Oh, he's at another, he's multitasking. Okay. And then third, we created a college that I don't know if it has hit the media yet, but it was also renamed today, and I'm delighted to say that what we did was we pulled together our urban affairs programs, communications, sociology, criminology, education, and we created an umbrella school that is very near and dear to my heart because it's in my own academic area. We created a school that we have been calling the College of Education and Public Affairs. Today, with the board vote and the announcement of a transformational gift, yet another transformational gift from the Mort and Judy Levin family, we will name this college the Levin College of Public Affairs and Education. And I'm so excited about that. That college will be led by Dr. Roland Englund. Is Roland? He's also, yes, so. What's really exciting to me about this is that there are public affairs and education programs all over the country trying to do this. I'm not kidding you. I know this because I used to be the dean of a public affairs school, and we did it. We did it here. And again, it wasn't without controversy, but here's the thing. Some of you have now heard me say this about 5 times. I'm so proud of it. There is a public affairs school in the country that has been pretty routinely ranked #1. It's the Maxwell School at Syracuse University. See, I'm even going to name names because I'm not making this up. And the dean of the Maxwell School is a friend of mine. And I saw him at a national conference in Chicago recently, and he said, you know, a lot of us are wondering, how did you do it? And how can we learn from it? Because we need to do it too. And then he scheduled a meeting with his provost to say, let's learn from Cleveland State University, because they understand that how we think about education and how we think about urban affairs go so closely hand in hand, and in many ways the education of our children is an existential policy question that we have to grapple with for next generations, for our future. So I'm so happy about that. I think I probably am going to drive the slide advancer crazy because now we're going to just skip over the slides. You got me. Okay. So we had slides about the deans. I just told you who the deans were when I told you about the school. So let's turn to this other part of CSU 2.0, which really focuses on our master plan. As I said, we rolled it out today. We're really excited about the level of alumni engagement in helping us design this plan. And it was really designed with an eye towards what do we want for this campus going forward. We worked with a partner out of Boston, Sasaki. They have been fantastic. They have been so skilled at listening to a lot of input and then putting life to it so we understand what it could look like. Because people like me might say something like, I really want to be able to walk, I want people to be able to walk through campus, feel a flow. Do you know what I mean? And Sasaki will go, yeah, we know what you mean. And then they can gather that information and start to create something that really looks like a campus of the future. You will see this, as I said, in the news. We will go back to the board in January for them to actually approve it, but we are already starting the process of looking at how do we prioritize pieces of this. So let me just tell you a couple of things that are pretty exciting to me. First of all, many people ask about Rhodes Tower. It's so iconic, it's so well known, and still it's the tower that many people love to hate. And still you go, but dang, it is CSU. It was the logo on my inauguration. I love that building. But if you're not into brutalist architecture, you might not love it quite as much as I do. Sasaki had a brilliant vision of saying one of the things we can do with that building that is a little bit lonely and stark and not great for offices is to reimagine it as student housing with awesome views of the lake, because you get up on those upper floors and it's an awesome view of the lake. We will need to deal with things like asbestos, but when we think about student housing above student learning spaces, we create a thriving campus, and I'm so excited about that vision. When you actually see the plan, you'll see other places where we think about learning spaces, like for instance, an additional learning space building. I say learning spaces because I'm not sure it will all be classrooms. Some of the spaces might be different kind of learning spaces, but there may be one situated in front of Wachin Hall, in front of the music building, and we're talking about putting some levels of student housing on top of that. You can see the way we do this in our modern cities, where we have storefronts on the main floor and apartments up above. Well, imagine we have classrooms and learning spaces with student housing up above, and we're really quite excited about that. Lots of mixed use. Perhaps the part of this that is getting the most attention right now is our proposal to well, let me just be direct, create a new arena and tear down Wolstein Arena. Now, whether that will happen or yes, that is almost uniformly loved, that idea. There are consequences, and there are things that we need to think about, and there are obviously financial consequences and implications of this that we do not take lightly. But the vision of a smaller, more contemporary arena that can, I always point in the wrong direction, so I shouldn't point, because people go, you really don't know north from south, do you? That can animate the northeast corner of our campus. Those of you who can imagine the campus really well, this would be to the east of the Langston Apartments. The provost is helping me, as is the athletics director. You know what I'm talking about. There's our facilities, maintenance buildings are there now. It's not a part of campus that you would even really think about, because it's not where we have students, but it could be. And if we were to do that, excuse me, imagine taking down the Wolstein Arena where it stands now and creating that parcel of land as some mixed-use public-private partnership, blend with the downtown area, research, engagement, industry initiatives. I'm really excited about that. So that's something that we've been really looking carefully at as we think about launching this campus master plan. And then there are other parts that we will look and prioritize. We're talking about what we will consider in the next, thank you. I've been talking all day. It was a long board meeting. What we will look at for the next capital plan at the legislature. We're heading up on an operating budget year, so we have about a year and a half to think about the capital plan. But I want to talk a little bit about the guiding principles for this. They're up so that you understand that as we think about this, we're not just thinking about pretty spaces. We're not just thinking about an arena. We're thinking about some core principles that really align with our focus on equity, on diversity, on inclusion, on sustainability. We want this to be a campus that celebrates where we are in the city and what we believe in, how we live our values, both in terms of what we've been calling our JEDI principles, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, but also how we are contributing to a greening economy. In addition to that, if any of you had a chance to see my inaugural address, I talked quite a bit about the idea of living well. The theme of my investiture was living well together on our campus in our city. And I really think that as we emerge from this pandemic, stay focused on our CSU 2.0 goals, but understand the world has changed. In so many ways, the world has changed. Almost all bad. I don't mean that. But I don't want to suggest that the pandemic was good, but it gave us some good outcomes. It helped us understand the importance of looking at mental health, for instance, as we think about the well-being of students. It helped us understand, in stark contrast, that things like health disparities are truly life-threatening when we look at the disproportionate death rate for people of color and low-income people as a result of the pandemic. So there are things that came out of it. And so when I think about living well together on this campus and in the city, I think it is essential if we're going to move this campus forward in the 21st century. So we've talked a lot about that. And when we think about wellness and well-being, we're talking about it not only through how we support our students, but also how we contribute to this city, how we support the community, and also through our research. There is a tremendous amount of work that's going on campus in our research spaces, whether it's in public policy, looking at birthing healthy babies, or it's in looking at gene regulation and what happens in our bodies that can help us ward off cancer or help us produce better vaccines for things like COVID. There are also engineers who are doing remarkable work helping us to live better lives. And I'm so proud of the research that we're doing in all of these areas. And oftentimes, as we focus on students, we don't necessarily neglect to talk about it, but we don't shine a bright light on it. And I believe, can we cue up the video here where we can shine a bright light? So this is just this is a really poignant example of how we can take some of our really great research minds, our aspiring students, and a community need, and weave them together to do something that's really pretty special for Cleveland. So let's take a look at just one of these examples.
CSU as an institution and our research effort are really focused on how we as an institution can be focused in this community, in this city, in this region, and solving problems that are relevant to the community. Ray Petro is a local entrepreneur who runs an indoor mountain biking facility not too far from here. He had an accident and lost control of both his legs and his arms. Somebody made him a four-wheeled vehicle, but it didn't have a power steering mechanism, which means that Ray still couldn't ride his vehicle. There's a group of folks on our campus, students from our mechanical engineering department, as well as from our occupational therapy and physical therapy programs. And one of our faculty members in mechanical engineering, Dr. Eric Scherer, they design solutions that bring engineering as well as other issues together to create products, to create usable solutions for them to use.
I got involved mainly because I was associated with the CHMS lab and Dr. Shearer's lab. I really like helping people, and it felt like a tangible way to use engineering and my mechanical engineering skills to create projects and see at the end of the day what Ray's reaction was or anyone's reaction when they get something that's helpful for them.
I just love that. So imagine not that exact example, but things like that happening all over campus. That's when we're living well together on our campus and in our city. So you saw, although I breezed over it, we don't have to go back necessarily, a slide that talked about research that we're doing on environmental sustainability and looking at tree canopies. These are millions of dollars our faculty researchers and our students are bringing in to complete this work. Almost $2 million to look at genome research with a grant from the National Institute of Health, a $2 million NSF grant to look at human-machine systems, the kind of work that we were just talking about here. So we're doing that, and then we have students who graduate and go into the workforce, go into the community, hopefully as engaged citizens, as engaged community members, and as productive contributors to the workforce and the economy of Northeast Ohio. And I want to share with you some pretty impressive statistics that I think we should all be very proud of. Our alumni of this institution have a huge impact on the economic well-being of Northeast Ohio. 1 year after graduation, 91% of our graduates stay in this area, work in this area, contribute to this region. 5 years after graduation, that number stays at 85%, and 10 years after graduation, that number remains at 78%. That's an impressive impact on the economy of a region. We are an economic engine. So when we talk about CSU as an anchor and a beacon, we can be both. And when we blend those, We're an anchor, right? We're an anchor. Our students stay here, they graduate, contribute. All of you are contributing to the well-being of this region. Then if we are a beacon and we can draw people, right, to this campus because it's awesome, and they stay and become a part of that contributing to the region and to Northeast Ohio, that is a huge point of pride, and I think that that's something that we should trumpet, and rest assured we will be trumpeting that at the legislature come January when we talk about funding for higher education, which is something we really need to focus on. We are also, as a campus, an employer. 1,500 people come to work. I would say come to work here, but that's another thing that's changed with the pandemic. Go to work for CSU, sometimes remotely, sometimes here on campus. And so we are a big part of the economy as an employer as well. And I think it's a real point of pride that when Forbes did their ranking of the best employers by state and published it, they determined that we were the #2 best employer in the state, and this is of employees who employ over 500 people. And we are the #1 best employer in Greater Cleveland. We are also the #1 best education employer. I think that's fantastic. I really am excited about that. Then let me, I always get a little cringy when I talk about rankings because they're the things that you love to hate. You might have read that Harvard, a couple of other Ivies are pulling out of the rankings because they're just not all that meaningful. And I wrote an essay not many years ago condemning the rankings on best institutions. So I want to say something about this next ranking that I want to share with you because I do feel differently about it, and it's not just because it makes us look good. It's one thing to say there's a #1 best institution, and any parent here knows that what's the best thing for one kid may not be the best thing for another kid. So I too reject those rankings. But when they are objective measures of something, they really do matter and they really do tell us something. And one of the things we know from U.S. News and World Report is that we have a huge impact on social mobility. This is a quantitatively determined measure, and we are ranked #1 among private and public universities in Ohio on measures of social mobility. This is the financial circumstances of a student who comes into CSU and the financial circumstances of a student, not only a student, but their family as they graduate from CSU. That is making an impact on Northeast Ohio. We are changing the social trajectory of families and generations, and I think we should all be really, really proud of that. I think that's fantastic. And then I just want to say something about the ways that we partner with the community and some of our community support partnerships. Just yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet with the Say Yes board, and you might know about Say Yes. It was established not many years ago, just before the pandemic, with a really transformational gift of $5 million. And it creates opportunities for CMSD students to graduate and attend college and be able to afford it. I won't go into the details of it, but it is a remarkable investment in a younger generation of students from Cleveland. And for us at CSU, we are working, and I believe you're going to be hearing from Dr. Banks, who will talk a little bit about this. We are working diligently to create the circumstances so Say Yes students who come to us on campus have the potential to be successful here because they have the supports that they need. I believe we have graduated, I'm looking to the provost, 30 students, 30 Say Yes students in a 4-year time period since this has begun, and we're very, very proud of that. We're looking forward to welcoming many more Say Yes students and really partnering closely with CMSD on this. We also have a Survive and Thrive initiative that is looking, I referenced this before when I was talking about birthing healthy babies, a partnership that helps us study infant and maternal fatality rates in Cleveland, particularly among Black communities. This is shocking to me, disappointing and shocking to me. You have probably heard this in the news. Our infant mortality rates are twice as high for black babies than for non-black babies, for other babies in the state of Ohio. And tragically, Cleveland is rated or identified as the worst city in the United States for outcomes for black women of childbearing age. That is just simply not acceptable. And I would say that to the extent that Cleveland State University can be a part of that, it's not acceptable that we could never say we've done enough until we have eliminated that disparity. That's huge work. That's research, that's training, that's the work we're doing in the College of Health, that's our partnership on this project that's looking at infant mortality rates. And if I could digress for just a moment and say, it's also a part of our partnership with university hospitals, and the Cleveland Clinic is part of our Jobs Ohio initiative, because if there are ways to look at hypertension, we know that there's an incredibly high correlation between hypertension and poor maternal outcomes for black women of childbearing age. And so when we're talking to the Cleveland Clinic about research around understanding hypertension and how to treat it, how to identify it and how to treat it, we're also impacting infant mortality and maternal health outcomes for the city, and I'm quite excited about that. And then finally, I just want to say something about our partnership. We talked about Say Yes students coming out of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District and into college, but there's kind of a virtuous loop, because in our education programs, we are also preparing the next generation of educators. And I am very proud of our partnership with CMSD to create opportunities to build a pathway and a pipeline for teacher educators, our next generation of K-12 educators, increasingly a large percentage of them, 45% I believe in the most recent class, teachers of color. And that's going to also transform and I believe improve our school system. And just recently, that initiative received, that partnership received the Schwartz Urban Education Impact Award from the Council of Great Cities Schools. And that's a really big darn deal. Again, some of you have heard me say this a lot. When I was at the University of Minnesota, we nominated ourselves and our partnership with the Minneapolis Public Schools a couple of times. We never got that award. It's a really competitive award. CSU and CMSD got that award, and we should be really proud of that. So I've been going on at length. I'm going to skip over some of this, and I just want to talk about a little bit about the Cleveland Innovation District, because I think that's a particular point of pride and something that you should be interested in. We have a substantial grant as a part of Jobs Ohio to substantially increase the number of graduates who graduate with backgrounds and preparation in STEM fields and health-related fields. This is a partnership that we entered into with Case Western, with Cleveland Clinic, with university hospitals, and with Metro Health. We are working regularly as a team. I'm very excited about the leadership of all of these institutions and how we can come together and sort of put our own organizational interests on the back burner for a moment and put the best interests of Northeast Ohio on the front burner and talk about what we can do together. So when I talk about things like hypertension and maternal health outcomes, I'm talking about the work we're doing with the Cleveland Innovation District. We have committed to graduating thousands of students over the next 10 years in STEM and health-related fields. And so a lot of our work internally is focused on delivering on that promise. But I want to add that we are a full university. We are not a technical school, and we want all of our graduates to graduate with a full set of liberal arts experiences, as well as the kind of professional training they need in a discipline of their choice. And that's a really important part of what we're doing here as well. So in closing, I want to say, no, I'm going to say one more thing before I close, because it would be weird for me to have talked about reorganizing our 3 colleges and not also addressing something that's all over the news today, and that is that our Board of Trustees unanimously voted this morning to remove the name of John Marshall, a known slaveholder, from the name of our College of Law. And I just spent the last, partly why I'm also losing my voice, the last 2.5 hours on the phone with people who may or may not support that decision. And I acknowledge that there are people who have graduated from our law school who may feel a sense of loss because the name of the college that they affiliated with will be changed. But I will tell you that when I recommended we move forward with removing this name, even knowing how controversial it was for so many people, I'm not sure I've ever been so confident in a recommendation in my professional life. I am proud of this institution today, and I am proud of our Board of Trustees for making that decision. Even as I acknowledge it may come with some pain for some people, I equally acknowledge that the institution of slavery has come with pain for a huge swath of our citizenship for centuries. So I wanted to say that to you before I close. I'm happy to stay and talk with people about that if you have opinions. But with that, with our campus master plan, with where we are with CSU 2.0, I am really excited about where we're headed and what we can do. I think that we have strong partnerships with our academic, our higher ed peers, our K-12 peers, our industry peers. I'm proud of that, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful for all of the support of our alumni base. You're fantastic, and I'm eager to see what we can do together in the years to come. Thanks so much. And I believe you will hear now from Dr. Tashelle Banks, but first we're going to queue up a little video for you to watch. Am I right about that? Did I get that correct? Right? Okay, all right, let's take a look.
Living learning communities here at CSU. It's about creating community, creating relationships, and supporting students where they needed to be supported, meeting them where they are at so that they can graduate from CSU.
I went to school at Cleveland School of Science and Medicine located inside of John Hay. I ended up finding about Cleveland State and the Parker Hannington program. I submitted the application, then I ended up getting accepted.
Students who are immersed in the college environment and stay on campus have an increased likelihood of graduating from college. But what makes the Living Learning communities unique is that this kind of relational, high-touch model that we qualify as a graduation success coaching model here.
Over the course of the 2 years, I've met with her just about every day, if not every day, every other day. I go to Megan for scholarships, my resumes, to set up class meetings. I could talk to her about anything. It's like a safe haven space, no judging. And I just truly love her. She's so amazing.
And she just had a stellar first semester and first year. I think Dean's List both semesters.
Here's what I say about Living Learning communities. They work, right? They've been around since 1997. It just became the time for CSU to do it. In what ways can we service our students differently? Folks care for them here at CSU, not just them completing classes and being successful, but the whole person and their well-being while here.
Good evening. How's everyone? Good evening. Good evening. Right. It's a good time to be out talking about CSU. But before I get into my job here tonight is to talk about some innovative programming that we have that centers students and provides them the support that they need to be successful here at CSU. And when I say success, I mean graduation. But before I get into that, I want to take this moment, just a quick moment, to acknowledge the leadership of President Bloomberg. We have a woman, in my opinion, who has wonderful instincts to be a president of this university, a very progressive leader, and today a very courageous leader. It took a lot to push what you pushed through forward, and it took a whole lot to show the emotion and love behind it in front of a pretty professional group. So for that, I thank you. I regard you for that, not just professionally, but personally as well. It means a whole lot. We're fortunate to have you. Absolutely. I want to thank you all for giving me a few moments to talk to you about some of the wonderful things that we are doing here at CSU that centers our students in a way that ensures their success. I also want to be able to talk about, the design of the work, that it's this kind of tapestry approach where we kind of built programming over time to create something that is intentionally interwoven to best support our students. And so in that, we hope to build a community of learners. These initiatives focus on the graduation success coaching model, the Live and Learning Communities, and the Summer Bridge Academy. The graduation success coaching model helps us meet the needs of students, but meet them where they're at by providing individualized supports and wraparound services. That way, using a team-based support model. So we work with other offices on campus to ensure that the students have everything that they need to be successful. It's an intentionally high-touch program, hands-on, where the coaches serve as mentors, if you will. We foster a sense of belonging through a relational approach. Relationships are key with young people, in my opinion, with any human being. This model was launched here in 2018 to increase retention and graduation rates, designed to better support students from traditionally marginalized backgrounds. And we use a relationally based approach. And its inaugural year, fall of 2018, the number of students that we served was 159 students. Now we serve more than 800 students. During the past academic year, we served 432 freshmen, 137 sophomores, 123 juniors, and 81 seniors. The graduation coaching office is led by Dr. Nicholas Petty, who serves as the executive director, and he's here with us this evening. The mission of the Live and Learning Communities, and again, I just want to provide an overarching idea of each of these initiatives and how they build upon one another. So the mission of the Live and Learning Communities is to ensure a quality student experience by establishing approved systemic access and student supports that we believe will result in equitable educational outcomes and high quality student experiences. We serve in the Live and Learning community to date 159 students. You see that the demographic information is shared, broken down by gender and race and ethnicity. That information is important. We believe that the students are provided with, what we try to do is create a smaller community on a larger campus. And this residential experience integrates academic support, leadership development, career exploration, mentorship, and experiential learning. The experiential learning component was actually designed in partnership with our corporate partners. The students who are part of the Live and Learning communities are CMSD students, graduates, who receive Say Yes to Education scholarships, and then they become part of our Live and Learning communities. So what we do is we take the Say Yes scholarship, the tuition scholarship, and couple that with funding to support their living on campus. So in effect, these young people receive a full ride their first 2 years, and it's need-based. Years 3 and 4, we provide additional supports as they continue to stay on campus, and that is when we implement their experiential learning experience. We believe that this type of on-campus experience will assist students in graduating on time with the skills that they need to enter a successful career and field of their choice. This partnership of the Live and Learning communities began with Parker Hannafin in 2019, and it has grown since we started it. We started with Parker Hannafin in 2019 with 30 students per academic year across 5 years. The Gunn Foundation, that funding began fall 2022, and it's fashioned after the Parker Hannafin Live and Learning community. And so we work with 30 students a year across 5 years as well. Miller Foundation also provided some support. They support 15 students and those 15 students are provided full room and board for 4 years. The Howley Foundation provides support as well, and that began in 2022, and 7 students are supported through the Howley Foundation. And most recently, the Meyer Foundation provided additional support with helping us with hiring 4 new coaches and an assistant director. So the compassion to help students is there. That's good, right? Because that's hard work. But the head work to ensure that they have equitable opportunities to be successful when they arrive here at CSU is the head work. And that is the daily work, and that's the grind. And we do everything that we can for these young people that if we accept them to CSU, our commitment is to graduate them from CSU. And finally, thank you. And next we have the Summer Bridge Enrichment Academy, and that's the 3-week on-campus residential experience really designed to help young people transition from secondary to post-secondary experience. And what we want to do here is make the experience more a high-quality experience, focusing on academic enrichment and transitional support. We want the young people to be able to navigate the environment, right, both academically and non-academically. And when I say the environment, I also mean the physical environment, where they know the campus, they know other students, they know faculty, they know staff, so that when they start in the fall, they're quite comfortable with the environment in which they will begin to pursue their educational goals. We also provide technology to these young people, a stipend to ensure that all students can maximize their academic potential for the first year and throughout their college year at CSU. Again, we're investing in them so that we continue to create these opportunities where the students will thrive and achieve their educational goal, which is to graduate. I firmly believe that when young people start college, they actually want to finish, right? And so we have to create the space here as a university and be responsive to their needs and meet them where they're at. And we are doing that at CSU. We've extended this work by looking more extensively at our summer experience offerings here at CSU. And so we begin to examine not just the Summer Bridge Enrichment Academy, but all of the summer offerings that we have here at CSU, and how can we provide a more comprehensive experience that is developmentally appropriate for all of the young people that we have on our campuses during the summer. This effort around the academy began in summer 2021. All of these efforts, in my opinion, and I would firmly believe that in Dr. Petty's opinion as well, because we work closely on all of this, provides intentional support. This intentional support yields greater student success. We are more responsive to the changing demographic of our student population and student academic and non-academic needs. We have an intentional focus on high quality and equitable student experiences and building relationships. It is seminal to the work that we understand the importance of creating equitable educational experiences for all students in order for folks to really feel a sense of belonging and that they can accomplish and they can be and that they can realize their dreams. Equity has to run through the educational experience in both academic ways and non-academic ways. Commitment to increasing students' decisions to return to college and graduate from CSU in a timely fashion. That is the daily press, right? So what can we help you with in the classroom? What can we help you with outside of the classroom that will encourage you to continue to pursue your educational goals at CSU until you graduate? And intentionally addressing the barriers that typically result in students not returning to college, whether it be financial, personal responsibilities, employment, whatever it may be. It is our commitment at this institution to address those barriers. And it reaffirms our commitment, I believe, to student success. We have a few key milestones that I would like to mention before I end my talk. For the Graduation Success Coaching Initiative, students who receive graduation success coaching support are retained at higher rates than students who do not. 82% of our students who receive graduation success coaching retain or decide to continue on the next semester. As far as the Living Learning Communities, our overall success is great. Students are retained at 100%. They return from their first year to their second year at 100% over all of the four cohorts that we have enrolled now. I think that's pretty impressive when we can say that our persistence rates from one year to the next is 100%. And that is not without a lot of work. And then the Summer Bridge Academy, we offered the first one in 2021. We served 133 students, 98% matriculation rate, meaning that 131 of those students actually enrolled in CSU in fall 2021. And summer 2022, we served 202 students, and we had a 97% matriculation rate, where 197 students enrolled in CSU for fall 2022. And those are our success numbers. But I'm going to tell you that it is the numbers that we tend to look at, but it's the qualitative features, the nuances, the hard work, the things that really matter, changing the lives of these young people and engaging in that work on a day-to-day basis is really, really, that's the work, right? Helping them believe, helping them see their promise, that they can be all that they aspire to be. And so we see their promise. It's our job to make sure that they can realize that promise. And we do that just fine here at CSU. All right, so I thank you all for your time and attention. And now it is my pleasure to introduce my good friend and wonderful colleague, Scott Garrett, who will talk to us about providing a transformational student athletic experience here at CSU.
Good evening. The great thing about Division I athletics and successful student athletes is their character and their ability to perform when the lights come on. I've been put in a really tough position because I'm following an incredible university president and an amazing future university president, and I'm just the halftime show in this. So hopefully I can live up to it. I gave a similar presentation of these slides at a faculty senate committee meeting yesterday, and that lasted about 45 minutes, but Anne Marie took out like 2 slides, so I will go as fast as I possibly can. I arrived here, in fact, stood right here in April of 2019 and accepted this job and talked about this CSU Athletics Promise and our 5 goals. About providing a transformational student-athlete experience and investing in our student-athletes and their journey as people, as students, and then last as athletes. And doing that through a combination of goals that we really call our CSU Athletics Promise. And those are enhancing the university mission first and foremost and making sure we're central to that. It's important here that we go in the middle at halftime because it shows the alignment that some folks like to call it the front porch. I like to call it a window in to the university, and that's really what we're here to do. Maybe the ones that speak most to this group are developing unprecedented support, which I'm proud that we've been able to do. We've tripled fundraising. We've doubled men's basketball attendance. We'll talk more about that in future slides. And then sharing our accomplishments, bolstering pride in Cleveland State and all the great things we have. And if I can brag a little bit, I think we're in one of the best eras of Cleveland State athletics history, and that has really come to fruition over the last several weeks and months, and you've seen the accomplishments of our student athletes and coaches, and we'll talk about a few of those here. On the next slide, you'll see how we display that Viking promise, and we just put these signs up in our administrative offices, in the physical education building at Woodling Gym, and in the basement of the Wolstein Center, because it's important that our 64 staff and coaches show up every day and think about this mission and how they deliver that transformative experience to student athletes, and what are they going to do in their day-to-day work that builds on that philosophy. And so they see that every time they walk in the door. Our prospective student athletes see it when they go on recruiting visits, and it's ingrained in everything we do. And so if you cue up the video, you'll see a little bit about how that comes to fruition.
The coaches and athletic staff have really had a positive impact on my life. They just support me a lot, and they provide that outlet to go to them if I need anything. I know I can count on them.
When I do leave Cleveland State, I think that I'll take a lot of memories with me. I'll take a lot of relationships with me. I'll take some lessons with me. Just I've learned a lot of things over the years, and it's gonna help me for my future.
This experience here at CSU has been nothing short of amazing. The people I've been around, the coaching staff, my teammates, administration, there's just this culture of winning. That's what we're about.
If I could describe my experience at Cleveland State in one word, it would be memorable.
One word I would use to describe my experience is transformative.
If I describe my experience at CSU, it would probably be amazing.
It's a good group. We made them say administration. We might have to break out the thesaurus if we re-record that in the future. A little bit of an overview of our department. We have 18 Division I sports. You see them listed there. One thing I like to point out about our 322 student athletes that compete at the Division I level in NCAA sports that maybe is a misnomer. They don't all receive full scholarships. Right? We distribute 122 scholarships across 322 students. 88 of those students pay their own way entirely. So either provided by need-based aid or other institutional merit-based aid, or directly out of their pockets. And the commitment it takes to spend 20 hours or more on Division I athletics when you can't work a job and you have to fund that on your own is an incredible commitment. And most of these students would not be here at CSU if it were not for that opportunity to compete in their sport. We're also really excited that we've added a new varsity esports program after a couple years of planning, and we're sponsoring 28 students who are competing in competitive video games, which if you had asked me 5 years ago, would we be doing that, I would have said no way. And we took that project on, and it is really coming to fruition that you have 28 students, at least 10 of those as we launch that program are brand new to CSU. We're not planning on coming here even 4 or 5 months ago, and it ended up here on campus competing on those teams. And we distribute a half of a scholarship equivalency to 9 of those students and intend to grow that program over the next several years. Next slide. We like to talk about 3 different ways that we're champions. Champions in the classroom, champions in the community, and champions in competition. And I'll fly through a few of these. How do we do it in the classroom? Well, every single team has above a 3.0 cumulative GPA. We've had 31 straight semesters of a department GPA of over a 3.0 and 8 straight semesters over a 3.3. We're really proud of the work they're doing. A couple highlights of that: Shelby Seaberg on our women's fencing team last spring was named valedictorian of the old name of the College of Urban Affairs. She was the valedictorian. We've had about a valedictorian about every other year, and typically have 2 or 3 student athletes that are on the finalist list for valedictorians. On the next slide, you can see some of our graduates. That's the best day of the year when we get to have commencement, and we are fortunate to have commencement this spring in person and celebrate a number of student athletes. And the majority of our student athletes graduate with some type of distinguishment with honors in their respective colleges. Champions in competition, we have a lot here to share that we're very proud of just over the last couple of years, starting with our back-to-back championships in men's basketball under Coach Dennis Gates, and included an NCAA tournament 2 years ago and an NIT appearance last year, and we look forward to continuing the success in men's basketball through the coaching change, which we'll talk a little bit hear about in a moment. Ben Smith is a championship wrestler, our first ever Mid-American Conference champion in wrestling, and we had 3 student athletes represent CSU in the National Wrestling Tournament last spring in Detroit, which was a really awesome experience. If you ever have a chance to go, Joe, I know you've been probably several times, but it's really an unbelievable experience for our student athletes to compete on a national stage like that. Women's basketball played into the Horizon League championship game last year, has had back-to-back postseason appearances, and won the WBI championship this year. And Coach Kielsmeyer has been saying pretty frequently that this group is special and they have a chance to win a Horizon League championship and return to the NCAA tournament, which would be our first time since 2010. So a long way to go, but we've got fingers crossed that this is a group that can do that. Women's tennis won the Horizon League regular season championship last year, and then unfortunately was hit with COVID about 2 days before the league tournament, and so they are back after it, looking for a little bit of redemption and a chance to get into the NCAA tournament this year. I talked about esports. They hosted their inaugural competition, and we've got a couple of games / you can call them sports if you'd like. I've started to do that. They are competing in the conference playoffs this week, believe it or not. So more news to come there. And we've got an awesome partnership with the Cavaliers, who are using their professional esports gaming facility in Battery Park, which is a really, really cool experience for the athletes in that program. Destiny Leo was named the Horizon League Women's Basketball Preseason Player of the Year this year, and assuming all goes well, she has a chance to go down as the best women's basketball player in the history of CSU. So 2 more years to look forward to with Destiny. And fortunate that Coach Robinson, Daniel Robinson, got his first win last night, first career victory on the road at Canisius. We're excited about that group and how much they enjoy playing for Coach D-Rob, as he likes to be called. And we have a special message from Coach, who could not be here because we've got games sandwiched in between this event last night and today. So very quickly, a message from Coach.
Hello, this is Danielle Robinson, the new head men's basketball coach at Cleveland State. I'm excited to be a member of the Viking family, and I look forward to creating an environment that unites the campus and the community in celebrating Viking pride. Our student athletes do a tremendous job of representing Cleveland State in the classroom, in competition, and in the community. We hope you'll take the opportunity to come to a game this season and join us in uniting the community in support of Cleveland State University. Go Vikes!
If you have a chance, go check out Coach's celebration from last night. There was a chest bump at midcourt, and then he got doused with Gatorade in the locker room after the game. It was a really, really cool video. Our most recent accomplishment, men's soccer, actually competes in a few moments in Pittsburgh at the NCAA tournament, and we're looking forward to hopefully advancing and taking on Akron this weekend. Really, really proud of that group. And finally, champions in the community. A lot to share here. We picked just a few highlights, the first of which some of you may have heard about the evolution of college athletics and the ability of student athletes to become compensated through use of their name, image, and likeness. And we, through our conference, the Horizon League, have really bolstered a partnership with Open Doors, which is a national platform, brand platform that provides education and a marketplace where student athletes can learn how to take advantage of these new rules. And so we're very ambitious and optimistic that our students here will have that opportunity, obviously with the right guardrails and with the right support of campus partners. And one of those campus partnerships is something that we've done the last 2 years in the Weston Ideation Lab called Every Student Athlete is a Startup. And it's really been awesome seeing our students take part in this, those that have an aspiration to grow their brand, to learn how that they can use that brand to enhance their experience while they're here at CSU, but perhaps more importantly, what happens after CSU and how they can best position themselves to be competitive in a very competitive work marketplace and career development. So we look forward to continuing to build relationships like that through the sport management program and other places on campus. Proud that our team has secured a NCAA AASP grant for academic improvements in our study hall spaces in the Wolstein Center and the PE building. And our team has been hard at work matching those funds with donor funds, and we've almost reached a total match of those funds, and we'll create some cosmetic improvements, technology and furniture improvements in those spaces after commencement this spring. A couple others. Talked about men's soccer. We hosted 2 top 25 opponents this year. We had our largest crowd at Krensler Field in almost 15 years when we played Ohio State earlier this fall. And what's really cool about what we're seeing at a lot of these events, whether it be soccer or volleyball or men's or women's basketball, is the diversity of our students on campus and all of the different types of students that athletics can speak to and be a part of their experience. And it's really shown in the stands throughout the course of this fall and winter. Winter for us, not winter, real winter that's coming, right? Men's basketball, we've had yearly growth in attendance and support. Many of you in this room are regular attendees for men's basketball. I inherited a program that was averaging 900 people per game. We grew that to 1,500 in year 1. We took a pause in year 2 with COVID and not an opportunity to have fans, and we averaged over 2,000 fans in the Wolstein Center for men's basketball last year. We have not hit our ceiling. I think it's realistic that we can double that, and I think our campus master plan speaks to that vision, and we're looking forward to continuing to build your support and just bring some friends. We play tomorrow night, we play next Wednesday. We look forward to more and more Viking fans in the stands. The last couple are our community service efforts, and we have dozens and dozens of these across the department to share. These are just a few that stick out. Lacrosse is probably one of our most active programs from a community service standpoint. They do a lot of volunteer work with special needs programs, with food drives. They've been very pivotal on campus in building support for a lot of what we do here on campus, both from a mental health standpoint and Lift Up Vikes. Women's basketball has been very proactive in the community, especially with a local elementary school at University School. In fact, a relationship there where they'd go and do reading, and then they have the class over to watch practices and get to know our student athletes. So those are just a couple that we're really proud of, and we look forward to doing more of that now that we're able to do that on a regular basis. Finally, CSU 2.0 and how do the athletics strategies fit into that? What's next up for us? What am I focused on in partnership with my colleagues on the President's Cabinet? President Bloomberg spoke about the master plan, and we're very excited about the possibilities that exist in that and look forward to continued planning and rallying support across the community for those initiatives. Division I is changing. It is ever changing, perhaps none more than the last 12 months and maybe the next 12 months. And Dr. Bloomberg and I are really paying attention to what that looks like and what it means for CSU and trying to be proactive and networked across the country so we really understand what the implications are and how do we best position Viking teams to make sure we continue to have a seat at the table from a Division I athletic standpoint. I talked about name, image, and likeness, and we'll continue to craft next steps there so that we're an attractive place for student athletes to come and represent CSU in competition. Men's basketball fan engagement and growth, we look forward to more of that. We just completed a very important gender equity review, which studied how we treat our female student athletes in those sports. I'm happy to report that we are doing really, really well, and we're excited about and continuing to improve the experience of our female student athletes in our program. And finally, what is not shown on the master plan, while we continue to put the finishing touches on that, we do have improvements upcoming in Woodling Gym, in the PE building, locker rooms that are housed there. 16 of our 18 teams use the weight room there, and also the sports medicine room. And so our staff is actively pursuing improvements in that space. So we've got a lot to do, a lot more to come. Really excited for the support that you all have shown and look forward to continuing to have your support moving forward. Go Vikes. I am supposed to introduce Brittany next, and she has a video to start.
Career Development and Exploration has a staff of 12 extremely committed, mission-driven professionals that aim to help students navigate what comes after college by being strategic with their time here on campus. Our goal is helping students achieve their dreams after graduation, whatever that dream may be. The development piece is pretty clear. We want to develop the professionals for the future. The exploration piece is meeting the needs of our students where they're at. So what that means is for a student that isn't quite sure, we're here for them too. We help students navigate toward their goals even when they don't know what they are. Another way that we have invested in our students is through our Dress for Success event. We provide a free professional dress outfit head to toe.
The Career Development Office at Cleveland State helped me by alerting me about the job posting, sending me reminders. They've even funded my attire as well. They've just been really supportive.
Cleveland State students have a tenacity about them. Cleveland State students aren't just your traditional students. We have students that are holding down jobs and going to school, building their families and going to school. Recognizing what it truly means to balance being a Cleveland State student goes beyond just being a student. And that's one thing that employers really appreciate.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brittany Wampler. I am so privileged and have so much gratitude for serving as the first director for career development and exploration. About a year ago when I took on this role, I had the opportunity to reimagine what career development looked like here at Cleveland State. And as I look around the room tonight, I thank you so much for the support. The deans that are here, from the president, from the Alumni Association, the pockets of people that have supported the work that we are doing has been nothing short of amazing. I've been here at Cleveland State for almost 10 years, and my commitment to our CSU students in the past year has been transformational for me, to be honest with you. And I have had the opportunity to give to our CSU students in ways that the first 8.5 years of my career did not allow. And I'm very excited about the future. And so I am here tonight to talk a little bit about what that reimagined office for career development and exploration looks like for our student body. So let me talk very, very briefly about our vision. First and foremost, we want to be able to turn on a dime to provide the premier support that students need to enter into their careers following their time at CSU. What that looks like is the mission, the day-to-day work of those 12 compassionate professionals. We seek to serve 3 populations. Our North Star is our students, of course. We also partner with faculty and staff. And finally, we partner with employers, many of whom are here tonight that have also linked up with our office. We have funded a position. You met Chloe Irish, who's also here tonight, our Associate Director for Employer Relations. Her work centers around connecting with you, our community of employers. I see a lot of our Alumni Association board here tonight. Thank you for being here. I see a lot of other employers that have connected with us in ways unknown. And let me just share one quick data point with you. Chloe has increased our employer directory in just 4 months that she's been here by 41%. Thank you. Those are our connections, the relationships with our community. And when President Bloomberg was talking about how we drive the workforce, how our students stay and work and are part of the economy here in our city, that is the work that we feel very responsible for. We want to set up our students for success. So, go ahead. I'd like to talk a little bit about how we're doing that. Almost every decision that I have made over the course of the past year has been toward that bottom line, and that is removing obstacles that our students experience to create and open doors for them to have more opportunity that may or may not have been there. How we're going about doing that work is a part of our funding structure, it is a part of our budget, it is a part of our planning.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of those initiatives and share with you what our reimagined career development office is all about. You saw a little bit about our Dress for Success event that occurred just a couple weeks ago, and we used donor-raised dollars from our career fair to support that effort. I've committed to providing professional dress, one free outfit for every single student that we can get through the door. A couple weeks ago, it was 409 students. We provide a free outfit by partnering with Dress for Success International and passages to local nonprofits here in Cleveland, and without their support, we could not do this. We also started a career fair up again when there wasn't a huge career fair on campus. And let me tell you that this room is full, but so is the rest of the third floor, the second floor, and the first floor with employers. And we are tracking toward having over 130 employers on March 1st. You're invited, by the way, and I'll share that invite with you. And then finally, one of the initiatives that is very close to my heart is partnering with a nonprofit, Elevate to Even Plus. Their goal is to provide funded internships at local nonprofits that otherwise could not afford interns, and the group that we really focus on recruiting for that is Dr. Petty's group. Those students that receive wraparound support and services that Dr. Banks talked about and Dr. Petty works with day in and day out, those are the students that we want to elevate their experience. Last year, we had 6 interns across the city, including at Destination Cleveland. This year, we're seeking up to 15 nonprofit interns and up to 25 students that are privately funded interns. So we are on track to potentially have 40 interns from CSU out in our community this summer. And I am so excited about that opportunity. For every one of those students, we also provide a $250 professional dress scholarship. So we are sending them out to buy professional dress so they feel confident, ready, prepared to enter the workforce and to enter their internships feeling prepared. Go ahead. Some other initiatives that we've launched. We purchased a headshot photo booth. You're all invited also to that. Located in our office space, our headshot photo booth elevates the opportunity for every single student to have access to a professional photo for their LinkedIn and their Handshake profiles, where they will eventually be searching for jobs and connecting and networking. We also partnered for a micro internship program of great interest to our student athletes. Micro internships are 5 to 40-hour paid, mostly remote experiences where they can add a few lines to their resume by getting a paid experience. The women's soccer team who was in my office yesterday, in full, every single one of them was there. We're very excited to start submitting applications over the next week or two because their season just ended and they're headed on winter break. Go ahead. Using career fee dollars, we are also launching our on-campus internship program. I would be remiss not to mention, we've had a lot of challenges in budget, and our way of helping to address that for offices around campus is paying 50% of the interns' wages next semester. We have a few spots left and would love for any of you that are deans, administration, that work for the university, if you have an on-campus student employee already but would like to elevate that role and make them an intern, we would like to pay half of their wages. And our goal is that every single student is paid $15 an hour at least going into those roles. And then finally, our partnership with Kaplan. I am thrilled about this partnership. My previous role, very briefly, was as director for pre-professional health programs. So my work was very much student-centered to get students into competitive health programs for the past 8.5 years. And when I took this new role, I worked with Kaplan to provide free test prep, private test prep for every CSU student tracking toward graduate professional law, nursing, or fundamentals of engineering test to become licensed as a professional engineer. I anticipate that that alone will save students between $500,000 to $1 million that they would have paid out of pocket this year alone. It's amazing, and it really is a game changer for a pre-med student. The vast majority of our pre-med students do not have the finances to pay for a private course, so already that does not level them up, it levels them down in terms of that achievement. And that course alone is $3,099 for the course that every CSU student gets for free. And let me just mention, we are also the first public institution in the country to offer this. It's amazing. The final way that we are supporting our students is by reimagining what career development looks like. We merged my old office pre-professional programs. We've added pre-law and pre-graduate studies, so we have staff that supports anyone tracking toward graduate education or professional or law education with our traditional career services office. So any student, every student, undergrad, graduate, alumni, utilize the services that our office provides. They are welcome in our space. We want to coach and support students toward the future. And we are very proud that for the past 4 years, if we can get a student to application in any one of those professional health programs, 74% get in. National averages are typically between 40 and 50% of those who apply. Of those, we've also been doing some very good fundraising around our pre-professional support, and approximately 1/3 of students over those past 4 years have also sought some kind of financial support that we've been able to provide. We've sent students on interviews, we buy their professional attire, we've paid for private courses, although we don't have to anymore, so we'll pay for registration for students to take the test. Whatever we can do to remove financial obstacles our students face, to remove obstacles for opportunity, and to remove obstacles for entry into the workforce, that is the work that we're doing in career development. Go ahead. It is a pleasure to do this work. It is very mission focused. I look forward to connecting with you in just a few minutes when we wrap our program. And I also, for those of you that would like to connect with us and connect your company or organization to us, we will be here to make sure that you are connected and at our March 1st career fair. I want to thank you for your time this evening. And I would like to bring up to the stage Anne Marie Connors to close out our speaking tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I know we're going on a little long, so I'll move through our things pretty quickly here because I know I'm the last thing between some fun and cocktails and networking and getting together. But again, I'm Anne Marie Connors. I'm the Associate Vice President for Alumni Relations and Corporate Engagement, and also the Executive Director of the CSU Alumni Association. And it makes me very happy to see you all here tonight. Thank you for coming out. This is our first ever CSU2U 2.0 Cleveland, and we hope this will continue to become a signature homecoming event. So we're really excited about this. We typically call CSU2U our roadshow when we travel out of the state, but we realized we needed to educate and spend time and connect with our alumni that are here in Cleveland. That's something that's really important. We've been spending some time kind of going around the country, but I'm like, people here in town don't know what's going on. So we need to make sure that we continue to share information about the university with our home team, and that is you. We greatly value your involvement, and thank you for being here. We also recognize the impactful role that you, our dynamic and diverse alumni, have on our students, our region, and our future. And we're so excited to celebrate our collective Viking pride here. I also want to take a quick moment to thank Liberty Mutual Insurance, who is a major sponsor of the Alumni Association. And without their support, we would not be able to do what we do as an alumni association, and they have supported all of our programming this week for homecoming. So we're just really grateful for their support. Tonight I want to share a little bit about our own re-envision mission for the Alumni Association. But first I want to share a little bit about our staff team. Our team consists of myself, Matt Knickman, our Director of Alumni Affairs and Corporate Engagement, and Jennifer Creviston, who is our Director of the CSU Alumni Association. You've probably gotten a chance to see them, and if you haven't, you'll see them at some point tonight because they're definitely running around helping things. We work closely together as a team, crafting and developing our vision in collaboration with the University Advancement Team and the CSU Foundation. Some people think our energy comes from the copious amounts of coffee and chocolates that we're drinking in our office, but it's really based in the pride and belief that we have in CSU and our ambitious 2.0 plan. We are wholeheartedly devoted to CSU's future. I want to thank Matt and Jenny for their hard work and efforts, along with many, many campus partners, to bring back CSU's homecoming with a new vision as we emerge from the pandemic. And even just a short year ago when we were just starting to think about this, we couldn't even bring a group of people together this time last year. So we're really happy to have you here with us tonight. A little bit about the CSU Alumni Association. Our mission advances the mission of the university by creating strategic opportunities that engage students, graduates, and the community in networking, volunteer service, outreach, and dynamic programming. We are governed by a board of directors and comprised of 30 alumni, diverse across a variety of class years and colleges, life experiences and backgrounds, all committed to supporting our work. Additionally, we have a young alumni council, re-emerging affinity-based and regional groups who help extend our reach in Cleveland and across the country. Our Alumni Association Board of Directors is led by our executive committee, and who are very talented and partner with our staff team to execute on the mission of the Alumni Association to advance the university. And several of you are here tonight, so thank you very much. Since my arrival to Cleveland State in April of 2021, our team has focused our efforts on how to re-envision how Alumni Affairs and the Alumni Association engage with our students and alumni, many times doing this together. I often refer to our current student body, consisting of undergraduates and graduate students, as our alumni in waiting. They are on their path to becoming Cleveland State alumni for the rest of their lives. So these are our future Vikes for life. As our students navigate their educational journeys, they don't do it in a vacuum. We've heard earlier this evening about the importance of a diverse, experiential education, providing our students with exposure to career paths and preparation for the real world. One of our key goals as a team is to increase awareness and visibility of alumni and the CSU Alumni Association among our current students through education and social interactions in order to foster meaningful connections. We accomplish this by strategic engagement and leadership development among our students and alumni in constant partnership with our 1964 Society, which is our Student Alumni Association, alongside our Young Alumni Council, which is comprised of alumni 35 years or younger or less than 10 years out of school. And ultimately, both of these groups work cohesively with our Alumni Association Board of Directors. This leadership pipeline allows for us to foster intentional opportunities for students to connect with alumni, and if interested, they are able to participate as leaders among their peers with our guidance and coaching. This is realized through specific events, speaking and education opportunities for students to hear from our alumni and learn from their life experiences. Additionally, we work hand in hand with other key departments and offices around campus, and we are continuing with intention to build relationships with key programs across our campus so that we can be at the heart of serving our students and alumni by supporting and amplifying the work of our colleges and student-facing departments. This simple graphic here shows how our team and our volunteer leadership engage with various departments across campus, such as the colleges and dean's offices, athletics and arts programming, campus engagement, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and most significantly, the Office of Career Development and Exploration. Our conversations with these teams often begin with, "We need your help reaching our alumni," but we often collaborate to find opportunities for students and alumni to participate together, fostering deeper connections with one another and the university. I see our role as not just serving alumni, but serving the university and its leadership in the process of preparing our students to become alumni and fulfilling the talent pipeline needs for our region and beyond. As we noted before, over 90% of our students remain here within the first 5 years, and over time, over 80% remain in Northeast Ohio. We often joke that CSU is 2 degrees of separation here in the area, but as a matter of fact, you are probably engaging with someone from CSU almost every day in one way, shape, or form, and you probably don't even know it. Our proud Vikings are everywhere. And the corporate engagement phrase in our titles, it's not typical for an alumni office, but it means we're committed to helping fill this talent pipeline. And so we work so closely with Brittany and her team to help foster these connections with our alumni and key alumni employers to support experiential learning opportunities for our students and our young alumni. We also focus our efforts on connecting with our graduates spread all around the country with our largest alumni populations in the following states. So if you wonder why we travel, where we travel, and why we're doing it, it's because this is where our alumni are, and we want to make sure that we're keeping them involved with Cleveland State. And I'm sharing about this and why we choose our strategies carefully as we help carry forward the CSU 2.0 plan as well. Alumni are identified as playing a key role in helping execute the plan. And I think you've kind of done the math here. As our students graduate, they become the talent pipeline. We work with Brittany. We work with our different programs to help place our students in those important roles. I want to share a video that demonstrates the impact of CSU's education and what it can do on one's career trajectory. So please enjoy this snippet featuring two of our very talented Alumni Association board members.
Destination Cleveland is the destination marketing and destination management organization for the region. I lead the human resources, operations, and IT function. CSU contributed to my success in so many ways. It started with just the experience itself. My sense of belonging at Cleveland State was exponentially higher, not only from the students that I was in class with, the educational experience itself with the professors, being on campus, being in an urban environment, but also just the project work and the coursework itself really was a differentiator for me.
My current role with the Cavs, I am a senior youth sports and group development specialist. I went into a career in sports just because I love sports, love being around it, love the energy that I get when I walk into the arena on a game day. My experience with CSU women's basketball was great. My career was from 2011 to 2015. Had amazing teammates, still in contact with all of them today. CSU has definitely helped prepare me for the role that I'm in now. Just with 2-hour study hall tables for practice, 3-hour practices a day, it's really kind of shaped, how organized I am, kind of my work ethic.
Cleveland State has played a huge role in my life, and it goes back to kind of just who I am and part of my identity. Like, I'm a proud Cleveland State. I'm a Vike for, as the saying goes, I'm a Vike for life. I think Cleveland State has so much to offer in the city of Cleveland and beyond that it's often understated, and people don't value the experience until they're on the other side sometimes. And that was me. I didn't really realize how much Cleveland State would impact my life and my career until I graduated.
I have to tell you, I work with Rick and Kirsten basically on a weekly basis, and every time I interact with them, it just literally makes me smile and makes me beam, because I know how transformational the Cleveland State experience wasn't just for them, but it is for our students and those that go on beyond us. So I think that's something that's really important. So tonight, I want to ask you, our Viking alumni, to help us. We need your involvement to help us carry forward our strategic vision for the university. Tonight, I invite you to engage with Cleveland State, which you've already done a bit, but I want you to do a little more. You've taken the first step, you've shown up here tonight, and I hope enjoying these amazing stories has inspired you, and also hope you understand that this isn't the Cleveland State from 20, 30 years ago. This is now and our future. As we look to fill the talent pipeline in the region with homegrown talent, and as we look to strengthen our city and its burgeoning economy, you can make a difference and partner with the university and our city in realizing our strategic plan. On your tables is this brochure, which outlines ways you can engage with the university and our students and our alumni. There's so many ways, and the slide here just is a simple diagram outlining some of the things you can do. You can volunteer, work with our students or our faculty, can hire our students or alumni or mentor them. You can experience our arts programming by attending our student art productions, visiting the art galleries right on Public Square. You can cheer our Vikings to victory, which we're going to be doing tonight and tomorrow and moving forward for our athletic events. You can donate in a variety of ways. It doesn't always have to just be money. You can donate your time, food for our Viking food pantry. Everything supports our students, and no gift is too small. You can further your own education and career with continuing education and exploring new career opportunities. Work with Brittany's team and our career development office. You can go buy some CSU swag at the bookstore and wear your Viking pride on your sleeve. Or you can we even have another opportunity at the table right over here. We're trying to bring back the license plate program. So we used to have alumni license plates. We'd like to bring those back. We need signatures of interest. It's not a commitment, But with the license plate program, if you sign up there and we get approval from Ohio BMV, the cost of a CSU license plate is $35. $25 of that license plate cost will come back to Cleveland State and support our students. So that's something we'd love for you to keep in mind. And on the back of your program is a QR code. So those of you that are familiar with using a QR code, you just scan that with your camera. It takes a picture and gets you to the link. But there's an opportunity there where you can raise your hand and say where and how you want to be engaged with the university. So I hope you'll take a minute, whether you do it tonight or in the next few days, please find a way to get reconnected, come back to the university. You've already taken the first step. You're here tonight. We're so grateful for your involvement, and we really welcome you keeping in touch with us on social media. And before we wrap things up, we have a few homecoming treats coming your way. As you know, our Horizon League champions men's soccer team is playing tonight in Pittsburgh in a first-round NCAA tournament game against the University of Pittsburgh. And tomorrow night, our Viking men's basketball team is hosting our homecoming game in the Wolstein Center against the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. We will be offering a live stream of the soccer game here in this room tonight during the dessert reception. So you can feel free to wander out, get some dessert, come back and watch the game. And so feel free to stay for that. And finally, to really lean into our Viking pride for tonight, tomorrow, and to carry forward with us, I am very pleased to present our very own Viking athletic band. I love the Viking horns. And they will lead us in singing our fight song to help us get ready for all of our fun things. So I'm looking for, as they're filing in here, give them a minute. And I really want to thank them for being here tonight because it really means a lot to have their support. They're a busy student group. And Bo, please come on up. He is the director of our athletic band. He's going to join us here.
Hi, I didn't expect to give a speech, so hello. Thank goodness. It's nice to see you all. We're so excited to be here. I didn't expect to give a speech, as I said, but it's very nice to speak to you all. And this is the first year of the Viking Athletic Band. And I hope you enjoy the fight song that we're about to bring forward to you. So the words are up here. We hope you sing along. Good? You can see me. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2,
Thank you all so much. You guys are awesome. This is what it's all about, right? Our talented students performing, supporting our athletics. Great job, you guys both. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this concludes our formal program. Please go and enjoy our dessert reception. Come back and watch the soccer game. And we hope to see you at tomorrow night's basketball game. And go Vikes!